Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Saturday morning. I'm going to do a lower body workout and I can't lie, I was so excited. I finished all my PT sessions for this week. I came to the gym. I was excited to start my workout. And as I pull my leggings, I broke them on my bum. So amazing start. What can I do? Anyways, I have a hole in my bum and I don't have the scrunch anymore. So perfect. And now I have to train like that. So yeah, amazing. So literally that scrunch is done and I have a little hole, so I'm going to train our body, and so the glutes, hamstrings and my legs. So I'm going to start with warm-up as usual, and then I will bring you through my session. I will chat to you about what common mistakes I usually see when people are bulking and what would you like to avoid actually when you want to maximize the muscle growth. Number one mistake that people make is that they are setting their calories too high. You might think that the higher you will set your calories, the faster you will gain weight, which is true. But now you need to look at whether you want to put on weight or you want to build muscle, because it's not the same thing. So when you look at it from this way, your muscle has the potential to grow just to a certain level. You cannot build muscle fast. We all know that. Building muscle is a very slow process. If you're a beginner, it can be a little bit fast because you've never been lifting weights and you are untrained, so it can be a little bit faster. But if you've been training for over a year or a couple of years already, then the potential that you will grow muscle is actually it's slow. So if you would set your calories too high and create a big surplus, you might end up putting on a lot of weight. This weight, you need to understand that when you put on weight, it's not only muscle, it's also the fat, the water, and the glycogen stored in your liver and in your muscle. Now, if you would be putting on weight very, very fast, it might mean that you are putting on a lot of fat as well. If you would be, let's say, gaining 1 kilo every single week, it might mean that I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to put on fat. Of course, you will need to put on some when you're bulking, but you don't want to put too much, because again, it's not a bad thing. If that's something that you want to do, it's completely fine. But if you want to maximize the muscle growth and minimize the fat gain, if you want to get lean and reveal that muscle you built, you would have a way harder time to be losing it again when you will go to the loss phase. So I would recommend for most of the people actually to stay within 5 to 10% calorie surplus. But for some individuals, as hard gainers and people who've got inefficient metabolism, like me, if I would set myself for 5 to 10% calorie surplus, my body would naturally just increase the need levels, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Therefore, people like me, as hard gainers, we have to go to big calorie surplus. This is not necessary for every single one of you. You don't want to set yourself too low, but also not too high, because then if you put on 15 kilos in 6 months, trust me, 80% of that will be just fat. And now if you want to get leaner and shredded, you have to now lose it again. So imagine how long will you have to be spending in calorie deficit to be losing all of that. And again, you can lose your muscle as well. Find some sort of sweet point in between to maximize the growth, not to put on so much fat. Number two mistake, setting the protein target too high. You will not build muscle faster just because you set your protein is high. Again, you don't want them too low, but you don't want them too high. And there are reasons for that. So number one reason is the thermic effect of feeding. When you consume proteins, Around 30% of these calories will get burned just to metabolize this. So for example, if you would consume 1000 calories from proteins, 300 calories would get burned just to metabolize them. Now, this is a good thing when you're dieting down because it will make you to actually burn more and create a greater calorie surplus. But when you are bulking, imagine you have to eat 3 or 4,000 calories, and now you will be eating a very high protein diet. You would be just actually burning 30% of those calories. Keep the proteins a little bit lower than when you're dieting, and fill those calories with carbs and fats. People usually think that when you're dieting down, you need less proteins than when you are bulking. And in reality, the opposite is correct. When you're dieting down, your proteins should be higher, and when you are bulking, your protein should be lower. How many proteins you should be eating? If you're bulking, it would be actually lower. That I would go to around 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. For men, it could be a little bit higher, around maybe 2.2 to 2.4 grams. It really depends on the individual. Another thing about proteins, you are metabolizing them or digesting them for a long period of time, then they are more satiating as well, meaning that when you consume proteins, they will keep you full for longer compared to when you are consuming carbs or especially fats. Would you want to feel very full when you're bulking or when you're dieting down and have lower calories? I think you get it at this point. If not, let me explain. So we know that proteins make you more full. If you again are consuming 3 or 4,000 calories per day when you're bulking, and you would consume a high amount of calories from the proteins, you would actually feel just too full. And trust me, if you're eating so many calories and you don't even feel hungry to be consuming more and more and more proteins, which are not actually leading to greater muscle hypertrophy, you would have even harder to consume all of these calories. You don't feel hungry. You feel nauseous, you just don't want to push even more harder digestible nutrients, trust me. When you're dieting down, you are on low calories, so you will start to have things like hunger and so on. So you want to make yourself as full as possible. That's why we need to make sure we are consuming enough proteins and fiber. Now, on the other hand, when you are in a bulking phase or in the building phase, the proteins are go slightly lower. You don't want to feel full all the time, so you want something that is easier digestible and so on. For example, faster carbs and fats as well. The third mistake is that people do not train hard enough. So again, you need to find a sweet point, not training too easy and also not completely to the failure. Or you need to make sure that your trainings are hard enough and challenging, but still staying 2 to 3 reps of the failure on the last set. Because if it's too easy for you and just when you're lifting it's just okay, then when you're in a calorie surplus, your body will primarily not use those calories to go towards your muscle. If the stimulus for the training and for muscle hypertrophy is not good enough, then what will your body do with those excess calories? It will drive it more towards the fats. Make sure that first of all your nutrition is on point, your calories and proteins, and also your training needs to be hard enough so your body will prioritize building muscle over storing those excess calories in your adipose tissue and so the fat tissue. If you are not training, what happens if you're in a calorie surplus, you are eating too much, you get overweight or obese if you're doing this for a long period of time. If you do the weightlifting, your body would drive those excess calories again towards your muscle, maybe something towards the fat. If you don't train at all, you are overeating, you will only put on fat. So you need to make sure that you are lifting heavy enough and your training is really, really on point. You're getting strong progressively so you can build that muscle. This is what I'm talking. Should we go to 170? Sounds struggling to breathe because it's warm here. It's not like it's so heavy, but it's just the harder it goes up, the more I start sweating. But I usually don't even sweat, but now I am because it's very, very warm here. The fourth mistake that some people do is that they are moving too much. Remember, calorie surplus is about the building, so the more energy you expend, the more calories you burn, the more you need to compensate for this. So if you can, try to not move too much. I know that it sounds a little bad, but if you're a hard gainer, you will need to consider, and you will have to push back the energy band if possible. A lot of people move just too much, and like they are doing tons of cardio, CrossFit. Now, if their goal is the muscle hypertrophy, they need to realize what they want to actually do. So if you're running non-stop, running is a good thing. Of course, it's good for cardiovascular health, and if you enjoy it, just do it. But you need to take into consideration that if your goal is to build muscle, you will have to eat way more. So sometimes it's better to go back with the energy band if possible, rather than to be eating a huge amount of calories. For example, I prefer to move less, because if I already have to eat 3,500 calories, if I would do some cardio on top as well and do more steps, I would have to eat even more. And I can't imagine myself to eat even more than I'm eating right now already. This 3.5 calories for a female is quite a lot. So I'm struggling to reach that every single day already. So now if I would move more, I would have to eat even more. So that's why I prefer to go lower with my steps. Normally I would do 10,000 steps naturally per day, but I'm trying to push it just to 7,000 maximum. It would be better if I could do 6,000 steps per day only, but unfortunately, because I have quite active lifestyle and I'm as personal trainer, I stand on my feet and I'm walking around the client. I'm not just sitting down, I just move around them, and I'm more active within the session, and of course I just move way more. So unfortunately I cannot push the steps down to 6,000, but I'm trying to stay within 6,000 to 7,000 steps maximum and not to move so much. I understand for some of you, if you are working, for example, in retail, or you have some jobs that you are in a hospitality and you are standing on your feet the whole day and just moving a lot, doing so many steps. Like some clients can do like 15,000 steps. Someone who's walking dog a lot every single day, and she's doing 18 or 20,000 steps per day. So of course then you need to compensate all that burnt energy with eating more and more calories. And the last thing that is more connected to your health and to your energy is the way how you getting your calories, or what kind of calories are you getting. You are in a calorie surplus. A lot of people will think like, oh yes, now I can eat 3,000 calories or 4,000 calories and I will eat all the pizza, all the junk. You can. Of course you will build muscle from that. The calories and the protein target matters the most, but now what kind of calories will dictate how you will feel as well. So now if you will be eating too many sugars and saturated fats, your diet will not be high in healthy nutrients and the essential nutrients, all the vitamins, minerals that your body needs to function correctly. Then you might feel very, very bad. Some of you can notice that, for example, you have a nice balanced diet, and if you will fall off the track for example, 3 days, if you go, for example, for holidays or some trip or something like that, or you just have a weekend that you're not feeling well and now you start binge eating, you are eating all this junk and or drinking alcohol and so on. It's not about like you will put on fat or so, but you can notice that how bad you will feel after just, let's say, 3 days of doing this. So imagine now you would have to spend 6 months in a calorie surplus, and you would be doing this every single day or most of the days. Trust me, you would feel really shit, even though that you would have an excess calories, so you would expect that you will have so much energy, because on the other hand, when you're calorie deficit for a longer period of time, you will start feeling more tired, fatigued and so on. So you would think that if you're in a calorie surplus, you will have so much energy. But this is where it gets a bit tricky. So you need to make sure that all those calories that you're consuming are going still from 80% from the nice, well nutritious foods. So you would like to focus on proteins, complex carbs. Of course, you can have some sugars, but that's why I like to eat a lot of fruits, because it's healthy and they are packed with nutrients, compared to when you are eating sugary processed foods. They don't contain these healthy nutrients, so you might feel bad after eating them, or just in general. Also the fats, you would like to eat healthy fats instead of saturated or trans fat. So you would want to focus on more eating like nuts, seeds, avocado, maybe adding some olive oil, instead of eating some, again, processed pizza and burgers and all these, like when you're eating in a restaurant, they are adding so many oils inside. That's why everything what you would expect that it's quite low in calories, foods they are making, they are actually so high in calories. Literally, Caesar salad, which has 1,000 calories, compared to when you eat it at home, it has 500 calories maximum. So this is the difference. So try to avoid, or try not to eat so many processed foods and all these junk foods and so on, because you might end up feeling not so well. You might be feeling slower and more bloated and so on. And then of course, if you're feeling bloated all the time, you will not feel well when you're training as well. So your primary focus should be feeling well and having good energy, so you can perform in the gym well as well, and you can just push in your weight sessions and getting stronger progressively. So these were 5 mistakes that people usually do when it comes down to bulking. Officially, tomorrow is my last day of bulking, and Monday I'm starting my dieting season, coming all the way to the competition. So I'm going to compete in July. I have been in a bulking season for the last 7 months. So I started mid-September and I'm finishing now actually. So it's 1st of April now. So it's been 6.5, almost 7 months that I've been bulking. And I started on 3,000 calories, then went very shortly on 3,200, and I've been adding. Finished just now on 3,560 calories. It's quite a lot, and I can tell you that it was not as enjoyable as you would think. It was really hard for me to be reaching the calories, especially in the morning. During the day, I just more busy. And I was having lunch very late, and then I've got so many calories left for the afternoon and evening especially, and I've been just struggling. I was just in the evening, when I had still 1,000 calories left, I was just looking to the fridge, what else can I eat, because it's really hard sometimes. So I was trying to keep it healthier, but of course I had to eat more like calorie dense foods. And I ate as well like some pastries, cookies and stuff, just to reach that target, because otherwise with chicken and rice it's kind of impossible. You have to sometimes reach for these kind of fruits, so I was eating that. A lot of pasta, rice, this is not very calorie dense, toast, bread, and just trying to add some fats and so on, just to reach that target every single day. Weight has gone from 62 kilos to 67 point something. Of course there is some food weight because I'm eating so much more, water and so on, so that will be 5 kilos. I don't know how much of that is muscle. Of course there is some fat as well. So now after almost 7 months of bulking, I'm coming down to the cutting season, and I will reveal that muscle that I have built over this period of time, and of course years before as well. I will be sharing more probably on fat loss and how to get a proper transformation and how to really get lean. Also coming down to this season, we are starting with spring, hopefully. In London it doesn't seem like that, but yes, soon we should have probably better weather as well. So a lot of years, as I know, are booking the holidays already. This is the right time to start thinking about getting leaner for the summer. So I will be sharing more fat loss content, but of course I can share more building muscle. So just let me know down in the comments if you would like to see still more about this topic. If you find this information helpful, please subscribe, leave a comment and like the video if you liked it. I also do have my TikTok and my Instagram as Gabriela K Fit, the same as on YouTube, so please leave a follow, and I'm posting more content in there. Posting also on Instagram more stories about what I usually do and some tips, so make sure to give that a follow. See you in the next one. Bye!